It told Martin Luther King Jr. that he had 34 days to kill himself, or the tape would be released to the public. In November 1964, a package arrived at the home of the most famous civil rights leader in America. Inside, a letter and a tape recording. The letter had no name on it, no return address, no official seal of any kind, but it was written by the most powerful law enforcement agency in the United States. And it told Martin Luther King Jr. that he had 34 days to kill himself, or the tape would be released to the public. The FBI sent that letter. The tapes from that investigation are still sealed in the National Archives. They will not be released until 2027. This is what we already know. In 1956, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover launched a secret program called COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program. Its stated purpose was to identify and neutralize threats to national security. Its actual purpose, as would later be revealed in congressional hearings, was to surveil, infiltrate, discredit, and destroy American political movements that Hoover personally found threatening. The targets included feminist organizations, anti-war activists, student groups, environmental movements, the Communist Party, the Black Panther Party, and the entire American civil rights movement. At the center of Hoover's attention, Martin Luther King Jr. The FBI began wiretapping King's phones in 1963. They bugged his hotel rooms. They intercepted his mail. They placed informants inside his inner circle. And after years of surveillance, they found no evidence of communist influence. None. So they changed their approach. In August 1963, King delivered the I Have a Dream speech to 250,000 people in Washington. The next day, an FBI memo described him as, quote, the most dangerous Negro in America. The surveillance intensified, and the recordings from King's hotel rooms captured what Hoover had been looking for, evidence of extramarital affairs. The FBI assembled a package, an anonymous letter, written to sound as if it had come from a fellow Black American, describing in explicit detail what was on the tapes. The letter told King his true self was being exposed to the world. It called him a complete fraud. It told him he was done. And then it said, you have 34 days. King received that package on November 21st, 1964. Just weeks before he was due to collect the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo. He immediately understood what it was. He told his wife, Coretta. He told his closest advisors. He went to Oslo. He collected the prize, and he did not comply. What came out in the congressional hearings of 1975 was almost impossible to believe. COINTELPRO had been running for 15 years. The FBI had conducted illegal wiretaps on thousands of American citizens. They had fabricated documents to destroy reputations. They had sent anonymous letters designed to break up marriages and friendships. They had fed false information to newspapers. They had worked to get activists fired from their jobs. One FBI memo from 1967 stated the program's goal was to prevent the rise of a, quote, messiah who could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement. King was specifically named. The program wasn't just watching people, it was actively working to destroy them, using the full resources of the United States government against its own citizens, in secret, for 15 years. In 1977, a lawsuit was filed to have the surveillance tapes of King destroyed. A federal judge denied the request. Instead, he ordered every tape, every transcript, every recording the FBI had made of Martin Luther King Jr. to be sealed in the National Archives until the year 2027. We are now 1 year away from that date. What is on those tapes? Nobody outside a small group of officials knows for certain. Some believe they contain evidence that would change how history remembers one of its most important figures. Others believe they contain nothing more than what a desperate and corrupt FBI director used as a weapon against a man he was afraid of. Either way, a government agency ran an illegal program for 15 years, sent a blackmail letter to a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the full record of what they found is still, today, locked away. Here is the question that COINTELPRO demands. If the most surveilled man in America, watched for years by the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world, produced nothing that could be used against him legally, what does that tell us about why they were watching him? They weren't watching Martin Luther King because he was dangerous. They were watching him because he was effective. And that is the most important distinction in this entire story. The files open in 2027. Subscribe to Echoes and Angle. We'll be here when they do. New case drops Friday.